That was the reason I was drawn to following him down the path of politics. It wasn't due to any desire to avenge my father or anything like that. I just couldn't understand it. You have like a decent amount of parallels with Elisa, because Elisa, like, her mother was like, at least in Cold Steel 1 and a little bit of Cold Steel 2, it's like a whole arc. Her mother's like always busy with work, and then I think Elisa's father like died or something. I think he died, right? He either died or like just left, but I'm pretty sure he died. I don't remember. It's been a while, but she was also like basically like raised by her grandfather, or like she's the closest with her grandfather. Like her grandfather's like her parental figure. I just couldn't understand it. How could a family so happy and loving end up falling apart so completely? After I made my decision, grandfather began to help me. I studied abroad all over the continent, focusing on politics and economics. However, the more I studied, the more I realized how complicated of a quagmire Crossbow's situation truly was. Caught between the Empire and the Republic. Our justice, our interests, are pulled apart by the gravity of their immense power, entangled with their own and distorted beyond all recognition. It was there I hit a wall, an insurmountable barrier in my way. Oh, there's the word again. That chat makes a big deal about. A barrier. Same one my father faced, and the one I'm sure my grandfather faces as well. Do you know who represents the government of Crossbow State, Lloyd? Isn't it Mayor McDowell? Well, yes, but he's not the only one. It's actually both the Crossbow City Mayor and the Speaker of the Diet. Grandfather and the Imperial Faction Speaker Hartman jointly represent our government. Lisa's father did die. I had a feeling he died. I knew he was either dead or MIA, like left. That's how we operate, according to state law, but I had a feeling it was death. Sounds like I should have studied a bit more. But wait, why did Crossbow adopt such a divided system in the first place? It's obvious, isn't it? If two representatives from opposite factions have equal authority, they can hinder things for each other, making political reform nearly impossible. No way. Now that you mention it, it does make sense. With those people on top, one side can easily sabotage the other if they try to push some sort of reform through. The fact that this happened is a tragic inevitability given Crossbow's founding. 70 years ago, Crossbow State was born from a mutual agreement between Erebonian and Calvard. In fact, the state's founders were themselves Imperial and Republican lawyers. Seeing the current state of Crossbow, I can't help but think of it as a curse. I was at a loss. If I were to continue into the world of politics, that same curse would grab me by the neck and drag me under, just like my father. That's why I decided on a new approach, one my family hadn't tried yet. And that was the CPD. Yes, from there I told myself I could see Crossbow's twisted reality firsthand, without looking through the muddied lens of politics. I convinced myself that the experiences I gained here would one day be my secret weapon when I finally joined Crossbow's political world. The reform that my father failed to achieve and grandfather is unable to pursue. I thought this new perspective would be the key to finally making it a reality. Maybe. But perhaps I was just lying to myself. Perhaps I was just running away. Everything that happened today, I knew it was likely I'd encounter those issues. Still, the reality of things was even colder and crueler than I had imagined. When confronted with it, I was at a loss. Maybe I'm incapable of doing anything on my own after all. Maybe I'm just a broken little girl abandoned by her mother and father. So what? Huh? You try way too hard to be perfect, Ellie. This is honestly reminiscent of the scene where Reen and Elisa have their talk at the North Highlands and she like tells him her past. They're both like, it's both the protagonist and the heroine, and then it's both like really nice music in the back, and then they also are both at nighttime. The only difference is with Reen and Elisa, they're like at a field or something. Like they're like in like more of an open field instead of Crossbow, but same kind of vibes I get from the scene. I can't afford to fail. I need to take care of everything myself, shoulder every responsibility. That's the way you've been thinking, isn't it? That's not. Today was probably our roughest day yet. Being ridiculed, having to hear that all of our efforts are in vain. But think about it. Aren't those the things we signed up for when we joined the SSS? Remember, Ellie, there may be barriers we can't get over today, but that doesn't mean we won't be able to get over them tomorrow. Tomorrow? Right now, the barrier stands before us is the threat letter case. Even though the First Division has taken it over, I say we continue investigating independently from them. Bet. Is there even anything else we can do at this point? Sure, the First Division may be great at what they do. But even so, it's obvious that they're stuck in a cop's mindset, only adhering to traditional logic. Maybe a new perspective is exactly what's needed to crack this case. At least that's how I feel about things. Lloyd, just like how you joined the CBD to gain a new perspective on Crossbow, right? If we're somehow able to solve this case then, I'm sure that means your goal isn't out of reach either. Of course, I shouldn't really compare our investigation to Crossbow's underlying issues. What we need right now is the experience of overcoming these kinds of obstacles. If we keep clearing the small barriers one by one, someday we'll have the power to get over the big ones. In these 2 months we've been together, I've come to realize something. You have your own troubles you're working to overcome, don't you? So how are you able to stay so optimistic? Let's see. Maybe it's because I have someone I'm trying to catch up to. Though that in itself may be a problem. And I think I understand. But I'm not as strong as you are. I'm just so tired of it all. I didn't come here with the intention of talking so much about my past, but I just couldn't keep it bottled up anymore. At this rate, I'm only going to drag the team down, and if that's the case, I should probably... We need you, Ellie. Your profound knowledge, your negotiation skills, your sharpshooting, your sense of justice, your looks. If we're going to stand up to the city, we're going to need you. But that's not it, though. Well, that's true. My point is this. I'd be happy if you decided to stay by my side, Ellie. What? We're a bit of a mess at the start, but I feel like we've really started to become a team over these past 2 months. There it is, 2 months. Even when we're bombarded with stress of daily life, we make time for small things like deciding whose turn it is to cook. We've all come to trust in everyone's individual strengths. It's not every day you find teammates like that. Well, we may still be rookies, sure. Too early for us to be able to tackle every problem by ourselves, but it's also too early for us to give in and despair and give up trying to fix things. We'll tackle each day head on, do whatever we can, keep relentlessly confronting the status quo. And if that somehow fails, we'll just come up with a new plan together. You, me, Randy, and Tia. And despite the way he acts, the Chief is always doing everything he can to support us from the side. Heck, even Zeit has our backs now. So don't forget, Ellie, you're not alone. You're absolutely right. I'm not alone. How could I have forgotten something so important? Thank you, Lloyd. Even though it won't be easy to solve all my problems, I do feel a little better now. Glad to hear it. Still. Apart from the lines that sounded like they came straight out of a teen drama, I was a bit surprised. I'm painfully aware of how cheesy they were, okay? What do you mean by surprised, Ellie? Because, well, talking about how I'm needed and telling me that you want me to be by your side? I thought you were confessing your love to me. Oh, it's way too soon for that. Confessing? We might not even get to that in Trails from Zero. That might not be a Zero thing. Wait, that's not what I meant at all. Oh. So you're saying I'm not good enough then? Ellie, don't do this. You know that's not it. Oh, come on, you're just teasing me now, aren't you? Just a little payback. But you really should be more careful, Lloyd. You might not realize what you're doing it, but you really have the potential to be a serious womanizer. Hey, hold on a sec. I'd understand if you were talking about Randy, but why me? The fact that you even know you're doing it makes it all the worse. Oh, good grief, Lloyd. I can't believe just hearing those words made my heart start beating so fast. What was that? Nothing. But anyway, I'm sorry I wasn't there when you reported to the chief. Did you guys come up with a plan of how to continue? No, not yet. Right now, the case hinges on figuring out what Yin hopes to accomplish. Tomorrow, we can ask around and see if we can find some sort of lead. Sounds good. Thanks to you, I have a feeling that I'll be able to sleep soundly tonight. How about we hold a meeting tomorrow morning after we get some much-needed rest? Sounds like a plan. That was a very nice scene. Lloyd and Ellie learned Star Blast. Dual S-Crafts? By spending 100 CP, a powerful combination move can be unleashed? Excuse me? Dual S-Crafts? This is something Cold Steel didn't even have. That's awesome. This concludes this week's report. The warhounds they've trained may prove troublesome. If Master Yin were available, he would easily compensate for our lack of force. Very well. We shall continue with our current operating protocols within the city. In addition, recall half of our personnel currently dispatched to Altair. Understood. I shall take my leave, Master Shio. Have a pleasant evening. Yes, yes, to you as well. How troublesome. I'd rather not have to request the Elder's assistance. Such help would come with a heavy debt. If only Master Yin were more cooperative, our plans would be proceeding splendidly. Were we not, I plan to uphold my end of the bargain. Are you the Yin or whatever? Shouldn't surprise me that you were eavesdropping. Dear me, I feel I may have a few slip of the tongues. Please, we both know you said exactly as much as you wanted to hear. Just as cunning as ever. Me? Oh goodness, no, I'm no match for you. So, what do I owe this visit? Are you perhaps in the mood to call some warhounds for us? Your subordinates are more than capable enough to handle that matter. My role is to take care of Ravash's main force, beginning with that man, Garcia. That was what you hired me for, was it not? Oh dear, you truly are no fun. It's come to my attention that you've become entangled with Arkansas for some odd reason. I'll have you know the CPD is quite good at their job, so don't do anything that will bring us trouble. Do I make myself clear? No need to worry. More importantly, what's your impression of the SSS? Oh, so that's what you've come for. Let's see. They're an intriguing combination of young people. Their leader, Lloyd, most of all. He's perfectly aware of his weakness, yet he continues to push forward with determination. He seems to have a strong intuition as well. To be honest, I quite like people like him. I was not asking you about your tastes. What about the other members? Again, each of them proves to be quite intriguing in their own way. Mayor McDowell's granddaughter possesses a keen sense of diplomacy and operates as the team's administrator. As for the girl from the Epstein Foundation, while her orbital staff itself is fascinating, I suspect she has some special qualities of her own. Lastly, we have the red-headed fellow. He's a certain air about him, one not dissimilar to our own. Intriguing indeed. I must ask, why have you taken such great interest in them? I simply wish to put them to a little test. I was curious to find out if they are worthy of taking a request from Yin. My boy's Zite! What a lad. Isn't it a bit ridiculous? Despite all the work we put in, we had no choice but to hand the case over to the First Division. If Rishi hadn't asked us in the first place, everything we uncovered would have stayed hidden. Yeah, you're right. If only there was some kind of diversion that would allow us to continue investigating. Let's rethink for a minute. Who would know about Yin in the first place? Well, obviously Hayui, considering that it's his current employer. And then there's the rival Ravash in the First Division who's tracking Hayui's movements according to Dudley. From there, we can assume that Speaker Hartman, who's closely tied to Ravash, knows about him as well. It's the man you mentioned yesterday, right, Ellie? Yes, he's a career politician who more or less rules over the Diet, serving as the leader of the Imperial faction. Honestly, it wouldn't be far-fetched to say he's Ravash's greatest supporter. Incidentally, almost all of Grandfather's reform bills were crushed by this man. I've always heard his name, but I never knew just how much power he had. If he's tied to Ravashto, then Yin would be a threat to him as well, I imagine. Yes, which means they wouldn't have much of a connection. You two look completely bewildered. Is there something we're missing? No, it's just... You seem to be in a much better mood today, Ellie. I guess so. Sorry about yesterday, everyone. I wasn't acting like myself. But I'm fine now. I don't intend to be a burden on the team anymore. You've never been a burden to us, Ellie. Quite the opposite, actually. You help us out all the time. I mean, look at us now. Thanks to your political knowledge, we're making progress by leaps and bounds. Ah, do you really think so? Something smells fishy. Agreed. Something is off. Very off. Wait a minute, you two. You know, now that I think about it, I could have sworn I heard a pair of voices chattering away on the roof from the window. Nah, that's crazy talk. You're crazy, Randy. I wonder. Congratulations, Lloyd and Ellie. I wish the best for you, too. Hold on, we didn't do anything that deserves a congratulations, right, Ellie? Yeah, I mean, no. We were just talking about life and other things of that nature. Life, huh? I talk life with the ladies now and again. So tell me, how far did you two go? Please, Tio's sitting right there. How far did you go? Is Randy referring to the intimacy people engage in while romantic in relationships? Oh my word. Nope, not at all. Lloyd and Ellie, sitting in a tree. That's enough for today. Yes, ma'am. Sheesh. Me and Ellie together romantically? You guys know that wouldn't happen. Oh, Lloyd, you sweet summer child. Huh? I mean, I don't think we're all that compatible. I can't really imagine our relationship going that way. Ha! Right, Ellie? What's the matter? You idiot. He stepped right on a landmine and died. Ah, yes, you're so right, Lloyd. All I did was ask you for some advice on a very unimportant subject, that's all. And there most definitely wasn't any sort of romantic atmosphere, like you oh so graciously pointed out. Alright then. You know, by incompatible, I only meant that we don't exactly make a good match. Blair. Sorry. By the way, glad to see you got some more fire in you today, Mademoiselle. Yes, thank goodness. I was not so sure whether or not you were gonna stay with the CPD. Sorry, never meant to make you all worry. I don't know where the future will take me, but right now I know this is where I'm meant to be. So everyone, I'm happy I get to keep working with all of you. Ellie. So am I, Ellie. Damn straight. Besides, doubt we'd get much done around here without you to keep us in line. I wouldn't have be so stern all the time if you didn't try to wander off to the casino every other day, Randy. Well, that's enough of that. What should we do about the investigation from here on out? Good question. We could always attempt to corner Yin with a different approach than the one the First Division's using. However, that unfortunately does not do much to narrow our options down. In that case, I got an idea. How about we have ourselves a trip to Calvard's eastern quarter? I bet we find clues about Yin there. Oh, why didn't I think of that? But would the department even authorize a business trip to a foreign country? Eastern quarter is far outside of our jurisdiction, after all. What are you doing? I was contemplating looking into the police database a bit more. Perhaps I would be able to learn about the First Division's movements and so on. However, I already searched it last night, so there may not be much in the way of new information. Let's try it anyway. We'd sitting around doing nothing. We're in! What's wrong? How strange. That sounded like the sound effect of being into the network or whatever. Or database, rather. Seems as though we received an orb mail. What's that again? Aren't they essentially letters that can be sent from terminal to terminal? Precisely. The peculiar thing is, despite being extremely useful, almost no one in the CPD uses the functionality. Most likely because not many officers are trained to use keyboards. And I'm one of them, unfortunately. Well, who's it from? Let me check. What? What is it? Who sent us?